All right, we're going to leave this middle section alone because I want to do that with you, and we're going to take a look at two-step equations, and then tomorrow in class we'll look at multiplying by the reciprocal, just because that can be a little bit complicated, and I want to make sure that we have that down. So for two-step equations, our directions at the top say undo the addition and subtraction to remove the constant term from the same side as the variable, and then the multiplication division because we got it down to a one-step equation. What I always think about is I want all of my like terms on one side, on each side of the equation. So I want my constant terms, the terms without a variable, on one side, and all my variable terms on the other. So looking at this first example, I want this constant term of 8 to be on that side of the equation. So I'm going to go ahead and do exactly what I did on the previous page. If I have a plus 8, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 8 from either side. And notice I can do that because 50 and 8 are like terms. So I'm left with a 6x on the left and a 42 on the right. So then I have 6x equals 42, which is exactly one of those one-step equations. I have multiplication, so I'm going to use division to undo. The 6's cancel out. I'm left with x equals 7. Let's try another one. Number 10. Again, I'm going to draw that line down the middle to keep everything separate. I have 2 times n subtract 5 equals 11. I want that negative 5 and the 11 on the same side. So to bring that 5 over, I need to add 5 to both sides. Negative 5 and a positive 5 cancel. That leaves me with 2n equals 11 plus 5, 16. Now I have 2 multiplied by n. I need to use division to undo that multiplication, and I end with n equal to 8. Let's try 2 more, and then you'll have some practice problems. So for number 11, again, I'm going to draw that line down the middle. I want all my constant terms to be on one side of the equation, and I want all my variable terms, which is just one of them, on the other side. So since I have a pink and a green on this side, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 9 in order to get that constant term over to the other side of my equation to keep this thing in balance. So I have 4 equals, always make sure you bring down that negative, a negative 4k. Now I have multiplication. To undo multiplication, I divide, and I divide by whatever that coefficient is. So in this case, it's negative 4. 4 divided by negative 4 is negative 1 equals k. And then last but not least, I have 7 subtract 3y equals 34. I'm going to draw that line down the middle. I have a different set. I have my my variable term, which is negative 3y, and then my 2 constant terms. I want to keep that negative 3y where it's at, but I need to subtract 7 because it's a positive 7 from either side. We always look inside on the front of the number to see, or to the left of the number to see if it's a positive or a negative. So 7 subtract 7 is 0. I'm left with a negative 3y on the left, and I'm left with 27 on the right. Now I have negative 3 multiplied by y. I'm going to divide by negative 3 on either side, and I get y equals negative 9. So you can go back and watch these to help you out if you get stuck, or you can stop the video if you weren't able to get this all recorded. Again, we're going to skip this middle section and look at it next class. Let's go to the back page just to look at these first two so we have some examples with division before you do your delta math. So again, process is exactly the same. I want to get those constant terms to the same side. I have my constant terms. I have my one variable term. So I see that I need to add 7 to both sides. X divided by 2 equals 16. And now I have division. To undo division, I use multiplication. So I'm going to multiply by 2 on either side. And I get x equals 32. And again, we could slide a 1 underneath here to be able to cancel. or you could just show that you're multiplying by 2. All right, the actual last one. I have my variable term. I have my constant terms. I drew my line down the middle. This side has both pink and green, so I want to bring this green guy over here to the other green term, those like terms. I have 3 equals c over -5, and now I'm going to multiply by my denominator. Because I have division, to undo division, I multiply. So I have a -15 equals c, because -5 divided by -5 is 1. All right. So go ahead and try the rest of those Delta Math problems, and I will see you guys next class.